I'm out on a river on a rather cold, bright day, and we are getting into that cold time of year, which means I'm not going to be wanting to heave loads of bait in and try and get, you know, a load of fish feeding here. What I'm going to take through today is how I'm going to tackle this river by pretty much fishing little traps, moving from swim to swim, and I'm going to do it using paste. And I'm going to show you what I use to make up this paste. When I say paste, I mean paste that I'm going to wrap around a hook bait or wrap into a gripper lead, because like I say, I don't want a lot of bait, but I do want the bait around my hook bait to be really, really punchy. So let's get on our toes, move around the river. Hopefully we'll, you know, in this stretch, and there's a good chance of barbel, chub, maybe even a carp. There's some bream in here. But it is that time of year where the fishing is going to be quite difficult. The water's very clear, it's very cold, and yeah, we're down here setting little traps, just trying to nick a bite or two. Of course, the idea here is to move around from swim to swim. We're just sort of like coming late afternoon and into dusk. Nothing's happened so far. Keep moving from swim to swim, staying well back in some swims, you know, not getting too close to the edge. And yeah, just trying to nick a bite. We're trying to find those overhanging bushes, bits of slack water, the sort of areas where you'd expect the fish to be holding up. We're trying to put a rig right up against those sort of features, just a little trap, and we'll keep doing that and keep moving around, and hopefully we'll go away with something. I've been experimenting with the hempen halley, using it for paste. Now when I say paste, not paste that I'm going to use on the hook, but paste that I am going to wrap like a boilie in or some pellets in, wrap a hook bait in, but also be able to use the paste on a gripper lead or something like that. So yes, that was forming the base. I saw a recent video, you might have seen it on the channel, of it being used in conjunction with marine ground bait. Now I thought that was a really good idea, and I thought that was going to add a really nice texture to my bait, make it come together really nicely, and it really has. What I do, I use it in conjunction with just a small amount of water, as if you were going to make it up to put into a feeder, but then I use a fairly generous amount of oil as well, and then that pellet oil brings it all together in a smooth paste. And let's quickly make some up now. If you look down here in this bucket, what I've actually got at the moment is like a 50-50 mix of the hempen halley with the marine ground bait. Bear in mind, you don't need to make loads of this up. With that, I've just added a small amount of water, the amount that you'd normally use if you were going to put it in a feeder. And that's basically what you're looking at there. If you wanted this to be really fine, it does come together a little bit better if you do push it through a riddle. I wouldn't say it's absolutely essential. You know, you're not fishing this straight on the hook for small fish. It can be fairly coarse. You know, we're only wrapping baits in it and using it on a lead, but it would benefit from going through a riddle. So push it through the riddle, and then wait until it's sort of like coming together as if you were going to put it in a feeder. Then what we're going to do is we're going to apply the oil, and it's the oil that's actually going to bring it all together and make it a really nice paste that we can use, like I said, on the hook bait and on the lead. So yes, it has been a little bit tricky so far. Of course, we're firmly into winter now, so I'm just trying to sort of manage my expectations. Fairly confident that we might be able to nick a fish, But yeah, it has been tricky so far. Something that I did want to mention was this paste, and it does keep really well in the fridge. I'll make a few balls like this up and I'll leave it in the fridge. You could possibly even freeze it, but I don't tend to. What I would say is when you take it out the fridge, it might feel a little bit brittle again. Just add some more oil. You know, like we did before, just add a bit of oil on it. Or what I've been actually doing is I've been adding some of the bait boost to it. Now this obviously adds quite a lot of moisture, makes it quite tacky, and I quite like that. Of course, there's no reason why you can't add this liquid like earlier in the process, you know, when I was adding the oil to the ground bait. You could add it then, but personally, I quite like to use that bait boost, or you could use one of the liquid haze just prior to using the paste, just to bring it back to life and give it loads of leakage and loads of attraction to hopefully just nick that bite. Here's my rig. It's quite a strong braid, like 20-pound breaking strain braid, probably about 1.5 foot of that, so not a really long rig. But it is a small river, and I do find longer rigs quite difficult to use on a small river. One that's this length and short and strong, that's going to land me barbel, even carp out of this little stretch potentially. So the size hook that I've got, I would use either a size 10 or a size 8. I've got an 8 because remember, once I put my pellet hose on here, I am wrapping it in the paste, and so it will end up a fairly big bait, and I want a reasonably big hook to match that. So a nice strong size 8. I've got a D-rig there with a bait screw, and onto this bait screw I'm just going to put some pellet hose. The nice thing about using a bait screw for this is that I haven't got to mess around with hair stops and things like that. I can literally, if you look, can literally just twist, you know, screw on my pellet hose like so. So that's one of them on there. I'll just screw on the other one. And there we go, a couple of pellet hose on the hair. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a bit of my paste. I'm going to take that paste and I'm just going to wrap it around the pellets. And I'll show you that now. And there we go. That is my pellet hose wrapped in the paste that's made out of the hempen heli and the marine ground bait. And that's ready to go out. I'll also put a little bit of the paste on a gripper lead, and we'll just put it in a few likely looking spots. It just occurred to me that what we're doing here, I suppose, is very similar to what the carp boys do in winter, isn't it? You know, they're fishing very high attract single hook baits. That's exactly what we're doing here. We're boosting that hook bait as much as we can, and then we're just fishing it as singles, just in likely looking spots. I've got to say, I know that winter fishing isn't for everyone, but one nice thing about it is that, look, all I've got with me today is my ball of paste and some pellet hose. That's it. I haven't got any more than that, and it's quite nice not to be lugging around buckets and buckets of bait, isn't it? You don't need that in the winter, I don't feel. And yeah, carrying such a small amount of bait, it's really quite nice, especially when you're moving around. It is nice to travel light. So it's been a tough day, very bright, very cold. We knew it was going to be hard. A lot of swim hopping. I've had a bit of a move, and yeah, let's see if we can nick one at the dying moments, which you know, it probably is our best bet, or our best chance of a fish, I would say. It's a nice one. Come on. There it comes. Come on. And the lights just started to go down, and what a difference that's made. Stunning barbel on the paste. It's very cold out here. But you still catch these beauties on the right tactics. I had to wait a bit for that. Ooh. Oh, right in that flow. It's been such a hard day's fishing. We've got him. Come on. Here he comes. Come on. Yes. And right, so I had to wait till last knockings, but the paste has come good. In and out of swims all day. And in the last hour, we've had a couple of nice fish, including this one. Very, very happy. Okay, so that's me done. Fished, it was a really tricky day. It was bright early on. As soon as the sun went down, started to get a few fish. So yeah, happy with that. Good luck through the winter. Have a go at using the paste. And yeah, hope you get the result you're after.